Hello again. We are Chris Lee and Chase Robinson of Southeastern 16 here to preview Kentucky's road trip to the Swamp to face the Gators. Both teams coming off disappointing losses. Kentucky hosted Vanderbilt, fell in that one late, and Florida lost an overtime game at Tennessee. You can see this one, 6:45 Central on the SEC Network. BetOnline favors Florida by 2.5 with an over-under of 42.5. That said, that was before the Graham Mertz injury news that we just got before we came on the show. Apparently, he's torn an ACL, so he won't be available for this one and then the rest of the season. Anyway, the predicted final based on that is Florida 23, Kentucky 20. My model favors Florida by about 3 points. Chase, this one can be pretty interesting. Both defenses really good. Florida's playing better, but boy, Kentucky's really got some offensive questions, and now Florida's got maybe its best offensive player not available for this one.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. As we saw that news roll out earlier today, and for Florida, I thought the life that Florida had in that Tennessee game was so good, and they were believing in themselves, and I think they could still do that even losing Graham Mertz. I still feel like even when he went out of the game Saturday night, they still had a lot of life and believed that they could do it. And I think we'll continue to see that for Florida, just in some different ways. I think that game showed them, hey, we're here to play. We could do this. And yeah, there's some issues with Kentucky that we'll flesh out, but I'm really interested in this game. It's in the Swamp. Billy Napier has not beaten Kentucky. And so this could be maybe a job-saving moment for him Saturday.
All right, it's not been pretty for Kentucky's offense recently. 20.5 points a game, 63 snaps a game, 1.6% turnover rate. Kentucky runs at 58% of the time, 4.9 yards per rushing play, 5.4 per pass, 5.1 per snap on offense. Florida giving up 24.2 points a game on 72 plays. That's a lot. Now, keep that in mind. Kentucky keeps its defense off the field. Well, I'll get to that later, but the snap is Kentucky's defense is only facing 50 snaps a game. Florida's defense facing 72. So hanging on to the ball here going to be kind of a key for Kentucky and the key for Florida to get stops. Its defense forces turnovers 1.4% of the time. Teams run at 57% of the time against Florida, 4.5 yards per rushing play. That's gotten better lately as their run defense has gotten better, 6.4 yards per pass and 5.3 yards per play total. What do you see on this side of the matchup? I'll tell you what I see. I see a Kentucky offense that really struggled with Brock Vandagriff. Offensive line play has been a problem. Now, they got a run game that works at times, but they just can't seem to tap into something to get the ball to Barion Brown, Dane Key, and Jamori Macklin consistency. And it just, I don't know, it boggles my mind when I watch Kentucky with the ball sometimes why it doesn't go better than it goes, especially in the passing game.
Yeah, I mean, you hit it there with consistency. They've been very inconsistent this year, and yeah, they've got to. I don't know if it's creativity or what, but they've got to be more creative in getting them the football. Find ways to make that happen, and I just feel like they're not doing that, which leaves me scratching my head because I feel like they can, and in different ways, just do some things differently to make that happen. But yeah, there's major issues offensively with Kentucky. And yeah, I think it may start with the offensive line and just not having the time to work, but then just the consistency from quarterback play is another thing that I think they need to do in this ball game. And so, yeah, I'm interested to see what they may change. I think Saturday, that loss to Vanderbilt may have exposed some more things about this Kentucky team. They've got a good defense, but it's not being backed up with the offense. That's for sure.
Well, and I think Florida's defense under coordinator Austin Armstrong has gotten better. They got some pressure on Tennessee. I think they've got 16 sacks. I think I feel pretty sure that a month ago we were talking about they don't really have much of a pass rush. They've done something to change that. I think that could be a key.
They came to life against Tennessee. I thought they did a great job of putting pressure on, forcing Nico in some tough situations, turnovers, all that. Like, they did some good things against Tennessee that provided no consistency for Tennessee. And so I think that's where maybe this matchup is. Like, if Florida can put that kind of pressure on a struggling Kentucky offense, I think that's going to be huge for Florida to kind of get control of this game. And this is one of those games I feel like Florida, if they want to win, they need to get control of it early, and I think the defense can help make that happen.
All right, let's talk about the other side of the matchup. Before we do, BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for everything sports betting. Every stat, breakdown, even live odds and spreads to bet on during the games, with the largest catalog of odds on everything from football, MLB playoffs, NHL, NBA, and political props. Go to BetOnline when the game's over. Head on over to our online casino, get in on a game of blackjack or poker, or unwind with one of over 150 slots games. Head to the website today to get in on the action with America's most trusted site for online wagering. BetOnline, the game starts here. Well, it's anybody's bet what we get with Florida without Graham Mertz. I think DJ Lagway is terrific, but Kentucky's defense will be just a monster to face. Even when Kentucky lost last week, the problem certainly wasn't the defense. Let me give you this by the numbers for each team for the year. And I don't know what kind of stock to put in the numbers week to week anymore, but I think there's a little bit more here, maybe with these two teams than there is on a lot of. All right, on to Florida's offense, which again will be without Graham Mertz. It'll be led by DJ Lagway, who's been very good in spurts. I think they've developed some passing weapons. You got Eugene Wilson, guys like that. You got a very solid running game with Montrell Johnson Jr. I think that's going to be key because you want to keep your offense on the field. Here are the numbers. Florida's offense is averaging 28 points per game on 61 snaps. The Gators turn it over 2.5% of the time, which is concerning. They run it 51% of the time, 4.9 yards per rushing play. That takes sacks out of it and puts them on passing plays where the Gators average 8.4 yards per passing play. That's one of the best totals in the league for 6.6 yards per play. Kentucky has got a monster defensive front led by Deone Walker. They got Derek Jackson and J.J. Weaver coming off the edges. Jackson had a really good game against Vanderbilt. Kentucky's defense gives up just 14.5 points a game. It is on the field just 50 snaps. That's the lowest number in the league by a good margin. Now, I know Kentucky lost, I think, 25 minutes of the Southern Miss game, so it would have picked up some plays there, but still, that's a great total. It forces turnovers 2.4% of the time. Teams run it 55% of the time against the Cats, 3.9 yards per rushing play, 6.5 per passing play, 5.1 total per snap. I think the offense for Florida has a lot of variability with Lagway. Can make big plays, can also turn it over, which proved to be a little costly. That and short yardage execution last week against Tennessee. And Kentucky's so much experience on the front end. This is going to be a very interesting matchup on this side of the ball.
It really is. Florida, again, against Tennessee, like I felt like they were doing so many good things offensively. They moved the ball really well, and not having Graham Mertz is going to be tough. DJ Lagway, I feel like, is a good quarterback. We just, he doesn't have tons of experience, and so, how will that phase him in a game like this? We'll just have to see. But I was really impressed with Montrell Johnson and then some of these receivers who stepped up and made big-time catches in this game and really progressed the offense forward a lot for Florida, I feel like, against Tennessee. And again, they see what they can do now. They see the type of team that they can play with, like Tennessee. And so I think that'll give them some motivation, some confidence in this game. But Kentucky's got a good defense, and they've been able to stop some good offenses this season. They do some good things defensively, and I think that's what Kentucky's hanging their hat on this year is, hey, our offense may not be doing well, but we're going to do what we can defensively to keep us in ball games. And so I think this is a interesting part of the matchup here is what challenges will they bring to Lagway, who's trying to lead this offense once again for Florida.
All right, let's give picks and why, and we'll start with you, Chase.
Look, Florida's at home in this game. I'm going to take the Gators getting it done. I think Billy Napier finds a way to make it happen against Kentucky for the first time. And look, this could be a big game for Billy Napier in Florida if they were able to get this win. I think Florida gets it done. Even with Graham Mertz out, I think DJ Lagway finds a way to lead this offense, and Florida wins at home against Kentucky.
Yeah, Florida's not been very good at home under Billy Napier. I don't have the record in front of me, but it's been close to 500 over the last 2.5 years or so. And let me tell you some things about Kentucky. It has been a roller coaster season. They start off with a 31-0 win over Southern Miss in a shortened game. They lose 31-6 to South Carolina. Everybody's feeling awful. They come back the next week, lose by a point to Georgia. Riding high. A couple weeks later, beat Ole Miss. Then this last week, I'm not going to call it a stinker because Vanderbilt's pretty good, but a disappointing 20-13 loss where Kentucky was a 12-point favorite. Here's my point. When Kentucky's played poorly, there's a bounce back to follow. And I think Florida's better too. And the Gators have something to say about bouncing back. But I just think that ball control portion with Kentucky keeping its defense off the field, the defense, when it's on the field, it makes so many plays. I'm worried about turnovers for Florida with Lagway. Just the experience edge goes to the Cats. I'm taking Kentucky on the road. We'll be talking about it afterwards at night. Best way to get that, hit that subscribe button, enable your notifications. We do baseball, football, basketball content year-round. We reach millions of people. Caroline.Smith at Southeastern 14. If you'd like to advertise with us. For Chase Robinson, I'm Chris Lee. You've been watching Southeastern 16, presented by Bet Online.